Hello, my name is Kyle Rumps. I'm a current first year MBA student at the University of Denver. I am back in Denver, just back today after my final day of South by Southwest yesterday, where got the opportunity to sit through three panels, each of varying degree of interest and insight. But today I'll be discussing my second panel, which was how to not screw up an AI transformation. This was held by a futurist and CEO of a company called Signal and Cipher. His name was Ian Beecroft, and he has a career in marketing and innovation, as well as lobbying and speaking. I felt that a lot of what he said rung true, and I agreed with. I did feel it was a little bit just, buzzword jargon heavy, but I don't think that necessarily took away from the overall message that he was getting at. A big focus of this discussion was, the effects of technology on humanity. So the entire talk started off with his example of the backhoe. When the backhoe came about, there was hundreds and thousands of people that were employed just to dig rubble, whether that was for construction, mining, you name it. And there was this huge shock that, okay, now that this backhoe has been invented, we can do this with just a single person. That's going to, destroy the industry. Construction's going to die, which is something you hear with AI. And his point was, since the invention of the backhoe, no, our construction jobs have not faded into oblivion. Actually, we're at one of the most efficient and best times for construction in the history of the world. Pointed to Dubai, and point being, in 20 years, they've gone from a small, desert community to being a flourishing center of tech and innovation, architecture, and just a massive city that exploded. So the point there being that, even though there are a lot of naysayers and doom spreaders, he does not believe that AI is going to be something that destroys livelihoods and completely eradicates industries, but rather that it will, in the long term, make things more efficient and just better generally for everyone, which I tend to agree with. The other thing that he mentioned that was a larger focus of the panel was just this need, because of AI, for rapid skill acquisition, as well as just having, what the shelf life of knowledge looks like going forward. So in his opinion, we went from a period of time, in the 20th century where you'd go to college. After 22 years you would have developed a set of skills that could typically carry you through a career for about 30 years. And then, at that 30-year mark, you'd need to acquire some more skills, and then you'd have about 10 more years in your career until you were off to retirement age. The thing that he was focusing on was the fact that as our technology gets better and we get more efficient and there is more innovation spurred from this, that the shelf life of these skills shrinks, and it shrinks exponentially. Point being that as of now, a typical, skill shelf life, if you will, is only lasting anywhere for about 5 years. So that means instead of having 2 sets of skills that you'd need in a career of 40 years, you now need 8 rapidly adjusted skills. And then predicting towards the future, his point was, as we have AI that is accelerating innovation even more, things that you learned 2.5 years ago aren't even relevant anymore. And the point being that the future will be rapid skill acquisition. So whoever can learn and apply new skills the quickest, and he was saying that these increments will be roughly about 2.5 years before you need to completely revamp your skills, making that entire career, much more skill oriented. It did raise one question to me, which is, isn't rapid skill acquisition and your speed to applying said skill, isn't that just being smart? I think anybody would agree that somebody that can quickly learn something new and then apply it is smart, and that is a hallmark of being intelligent. And I feel personally that you could say that same thing 300 years ago, 200 years ago, 100 years ago, and 300 years into the future, that the people that are going to be most successful are those that are intelligent and can learn new skills and apply them. So while I did agree with him, and I did think that, the implications of AI and innovation does make those skill shelf lives shorter, as well as, the fact that AI wasn't going to completely destroy industries in the world as we know it, I didn't think that it was necessarily as insightful as he may have thought. But that is, again, just my personal opinion. So hopefully you learned a little bit about what Ian B. Craft said from his discussion on how not to screw up an AI transformation. I don't think that it really talked about transformation outside of, codifying internal knowledge to use in conjunction with LLMs. But I do think that a lot of what he was saying did ring true, even if it wasn't the most profound. So thank you for joining me here.